Hey, what's going on, guys? Tre'Leon here. Today I have my wife Ashley Nicole with me, and we're going to share with you our experience on living abroad for 1 year.
We have been living abroad for a year, and I'm so hyped. We're still abroad, so we're still counting down, but it has officially been a year, guys. And so we're just so excited. It's been a year since we made a decision to get on that flight and decided to come all the way across the world to Asia, to Thailand, and that was our first place. And it's been like an amazing journey since then. I just love Thailand. That was the first country that we went to. We did stay in the Southeast Asia area during our travel abroad, but we love Southeast Asia. We've been to a lot of different places, but Thailand was the first place, and it's also where we are right now. So we're actually a little bit stationary here. We still travel around, but this is actually the base that we chose to be our home because we love it just so much. How do you feel about making the decision to travel abroad? It's a year. It's been a year. I can't believe it's been a year.
Yes, I mean, it's funny because when we initially made the decision, we didn't put a time frame on how long we was going to be out of the country.
Right.
I mean, it was already pretty spontaneous when we made the decision to leave. But then in us leaving, we, got rid of everything that we owned, sold everything, literally everything that we owned, even if it was like some of our most precious type of stuff that we wanted to hold on to, we had to be willing to let go. And that was one of the first phases that we went through in order to even make it out here, was to be able to get rid of, certain things that we held on to, certain businesses that we, might have started that we needed to revamp, but we had to revamp it in other ways. And so us having to, being able to let go and then, of course, continue on this journey, because we knew it was going to lead us somewhere. We just didn't know where exactly it was going to lead us. And so we learned so much on this journey, man, about ourselves, about, our purpose, about where we fit into who we are and what we're doing and where we're going. So, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world on the decision that we made at all. And obviously, we really feel like it fit us right now because we're still out here, of course. And so I think altogether, we've been to 7 countries in Southeast Asia alone. And so we started in this area. We wanted to explore this area and see everything that it has to offer. And so we've been to 7 countries this year. Thailand, of course, is our favorite country thus far, but we love every single Southeast Asian country that we've been to. We see a reflection of ourselves and all of those people there and their culture, and we just totally connected, and we're so appreciative of their culture and what they've shown us and how they've treated us in every destination that we've been to. We've chosen some very nice places and nice people.
Yeah, I think in deciding, well, we really didn't decide on visiting Asia. So if I can just be real with you guys, I didn't even think about Thailand being in Asia before I left. Which I know may seem a little naive and foolish, but I didn't really put it together. But then I started thinking also who would choose really Asia to go visit? Especially because it was our first time, traveling. We never went abroad before. That was our first choice, and we just really stuck to that, even though we didn't really know any information about Thailand. It was really just off of the feeling and emotion of doing that. But it was just so crazy to just be able to come to Asia and go to countries that I never thought I would be able to go. Not even saying I'd be able to go, but never thought that I would visit and feel great and just have really great experiences with people, really having great energy and receiving so much knowledge. I just never really thought at that time that's what I was going to gain by coming and traveling abroad. But all the 7 countries that we visited, I love every single one. There's something there, no matter where you go on the map, there is something there for you to grab hold.
That connects with you. It's a part of yourself. We're all connected, and so you seeing another part of the world is literally you're looking at a part of yourself. It's no different.
So just think of oh my bad, sorry. I was gonna say think of it almost like unlocking a piece of yourself that you really didn't know that was even there. Just think of, like you said, if everybody makes up a part of you, and sometimes you may not even know that that missing part, it'll start to give you information. Then you start realizing like, oh, this is what I was missing. But having this, and I felt like traveling out the country has helped me to find some of those missing pieces. Not really missing pieces. I didn't feel like anything was missing, but create a synergy between all the timelines and history and things like that. Because I've been learning so much about like history and then how the countries are kind of like building their country, and I just felt like that was just so awesome to be able to learn the information and to be able to retain the information too while traveling.
Because we've learned a lot about the actual country and culture to the places that we went to too. So we don't do a lot of tourist stuff, honestly. We really do get in, like, you know, find out about the country, the locals, and get to know, you know, just even the history of the country. Like she said, a lot of times we'll go and we'll find out, oh, the country was colonized by this country before and this year, and that had this type of an effect on their culture, and you can see the mixture of their culture or how they even gained back their land or gained back their culture because it was taken or mistaken, you know, before. And so hearing those stories of, you know, of course our people have went through the same thing, and then seeing that they've actually overcome those and have taken back their land or taken back their culture, it's inspiring to see their stories, to see that actually happen. And then also it's inspiring to see the just them afterwards, you know, and see them actually, their economy, and their economy, and actually putting that back together, and also, you know, their trade and stuff like that internationally, and them self-sustaining, you know, eventually, and building their self back on top of that. We've been learning so much just about economies, world government, you know, world, just international trade and monetary policies, and all of these different things have really came from us being able to expand our mind outside of our environment and our boundaries and what we was used to and what we was told we should focus on and be taught, and just only know that in that society and how that functions. Being able to see all these different societies and what they're good at and how they function and still survive and sustain helped us to be like, okay, so now we can look at things on a broad spectrum now, outside of just where we was from and where we was born, our block, on our step, on our porch, at our school, at, you know, it's like, now it's like, oh wow, this is a huge world, and it all comes together and actually works coercively. And not only that, it's a part of me. And so now it's like finding your place in all of this. And so the information that we've been able to learn and actually be exposed to goes exactly to our purpose. So us being out here has been exactly what we planned for it to do, what we knew it was going to direct us towards our purpose. And now we've been getting so much clearer and clearer as we go along, where our dreams and goals have been going from like, oh, we thought it was big, to now it's like our dreams and goals is like,
always bigger,
it's scary now sometimes, just thinking about the things of what we want to accomplish and what we feel like our purpose is to accomplish, that everything else that we've done in life almost seems mediocre because of our expanded view on ourselves and our environment and our world.
Yeah. So traveling abroad has been just a blessing that, you know, I already knew that I needed and wanted prior to coming, but also just I needed it and wanted it now in different ways that I didn't even understand or could really fathom even then, before, you know, deciding to travel abroad. But I just felt like I learned so much about myself, and also certain patterns that I had that wasn't really positive. You know, just like how you were talking about in a prior video, just sometimes really controlling your thinking and not really putting the prejudice on yourself to other people just because they may look at you a different way or give you a different look. And it's just like, you know, because you experienced that in a not so good way, you apply that to everybody that walks by you or that may, you know, make those similar, you know, facial expressions or whatever. So for me, it just helped me to realize like, okay, I need to not do that, number one, because not everybody feels the same way. And how dare I put my past hurt and experiences on this person who is just a natural good person. Maybe they just mean mug just out of appreciation. You never know why people do certain things. It's always an opposite or alternative to what you may think. So for me, just being open to different people, different cultures, different way of doing things, you know, like, you know, sometimes they may say something that we may say and it's degrading, like coon. Coon is not a good word for us. Like, we don't like the word coon, right?
Yeah, but coon out here in Thailand, it means mister. So it's a word of respect, basically. And so it just shows you the difference. You know, it's like the first time we heard the word coon, you was like, how dare you call me a coon? I'm like, what? Mr. Coon Tracy. Like, wait, hold on.
Excuse me?
Just call me a coon? Like, oh, that's what that means?
Like,
okay. No, I mean, just little things
so
like that.
So just understanding,
It's just,
crazy.
like, that was, I mean, really, that was like probably one of the major things that we've been able to learn about ourselves just being out here, like that's probably one of the major shifts, not just with, business and purpose, just like really thinking about ourselves and the thoughts that were programmed in our mind and our subconscious mind mainly for us to be able to just react and do certain behaviors that we don't even know was programmed for us to do. But now we're able to recognize those because these, other people in other parts of the world have no idea of your upbringing, of your culture, of the things that you were, like you said, past hurts, past pains that happened. They have no clue. All they can see is you now and what you're doing and your behaviors. And so we're literally creating our own environment and their reactions to us by the thoughts that we have in our head about ourselves and our environment. And so the thoughts that you had before that was programmed that wasn't really healthy for you to think, now you're replaying those out into environments that have no clue who you are. And so now it's like almost a direct, like basically you can't get around it from yourself saying, I created that experience. I recreated that circle over and over in my life before, and now I see it happening again in this situation when this person has nothing to do with the situation, has no idea about the past traumas. And so if I'm recreating the situation, and these are things that we're looking at with ourselves with small things. Like we literally taking thoughts that's in our head and be like, you know what? I had this thought about this person or this prejudgment or this prejudgment even about myself before meeting the person or before seeing the person or before the situation happens. Really controlling those thoughts from not creating those bad things is like the key to you retraining your subconscious mind to do the things and go towards the purpose that you want it to happen is because of the thoughts that happen that we create all the time. And so us taking that so serious, like to the point where we was battling ourselves inside.
We never think we was going to be able to control those type of thoughts. I mean, we thought that we could. But it was going to take a longer time. Like, it was so many, like, when we became aware of it. Because they don't speak our... Yeah, like, to just give you, like, some history. Like, if you haven't traveled abroad, think about, like, living among people who do not speak your language, who do not understand anything that you say. And so you have to sometimes, like, guess what they're saying, guess what they're thinking. But, I mean, you don't have to, but you choose to guess what they're thinking. And sometimes when you guess wrong. And sometimes you have a thought like, oh, they probably think I'm not smart enough. Or they probably think that I'm not this. They probably wasn't thinking that. But because
self-defeating thoughts.
And then when you start thinking about it, it's like, it's really just how you really feel about yourself. And then you start thinking about, oh, well, I have a lot of self-doubt. I'm not, confident. There's a lot of things I need to work on. And then you just realize, like, okay, I'm being aware to certain traits and certain things I got to work on so that I can be my best self. And then traveling abroad, I feel like that's being your best self when you can just be amongst different cultures and different people, different languages, and really take the time to just create a wholeness, even though we didn't speak the same languages and, it was hard to get that out of our head. But once we learned that, we was able just to be in a oneness to where, okay, we may not know all the words in your language, but everybody knows what hello means, that's a universal word. Just stop psyching yourself out thinking that it's worse than what it really is. It's like, it's really not. Because that's what I was thinking about earlier today. Just like, it's okay for me to speak out and say hello to other people and say it in English because most likely a lot of them know greetings in English. So why not take the time to just say hello? But like you said, like there's sometimes those mind blockers that you realize like, oh, okay, hey, here they are. Now let me work on them and let me try to get them away. But not really away to where you disregard them, but you learn them and then be able to create new practices and move forward. So it's just so crazy how, a lot of awarenesses have been coming to us since traveling abroad.
We definitely just, the mindset and us working on the thoughts, the self-doubt thoughts or the self-defeating thoughts or even thoughts of prejudgments of other people, we noticed that when we decided to take those thoughts serious and actually battle within ourselves, like anytime any thought happens before the actual action happens or before the situation happens, then I know I need to stop those thoughts into something that I need to stop within inside of me. And then all of a sudden, doing that over and over and over again for a few days, we noticed that we almost reprogrammed ourselves to where those thoughts don't even happen anymore, and that magnitude of especially what they was happening with before. And so now when we're in situations, it's like a freeing type of feeling, but we didn't even notice. Like we think we are like the most positive people, and it's like loving and stuff like that. But then when you notice those thoughts that come into your head, you're like, okay, All right, so that's the blockage that was happening when it comes into interaction with other people who are unlike myself or unlike where I was from or what I'm used to being around. And then also, you know, you made a point about our communication. Like our communication has gotten so much better since day one of like our first day of leaving out of the country and landing in Bangkok. And I don't know if you've ever been to Bangkok. We chose that as our first city to go to outside of the country. It was like a boot camp. It was like a boot camp. The craziest is like, you know, you don't know. Bangkok is the most visited city in the world. So they have the most tourists, the most people, the most traffic, the most craziness. They don't speak English a lot there. And so it was literally like landing and it was just so much chaotic stuff going on. And it was just like, okay, nobody can understand me.
It was so much
nobody looks like me. We don't see any food that, you know, we don't know how to, it was like basically boot camp. But since that day, we've been able to communicate in every country that we went to without knowing their language, just because we've adapted into, first of all, our body language, of course, and our thoughts, and just being loving and having those thoughts about that. And then also pointing to things or having to pull it up on your phone or ask questions about how do you say this. And, you know, just like taking those things serious. So we've been able to communicate a lot better than, you know, what we were able to do, of course, prior to us coming out of the country. So.
Yeah. And guys, we learned how to negotiate since being here.
Negotiate better, yeah.
I swear, I thought I was a pro of negotiations before coming out here.
Yeah, you gotta get the hustlers out here. No. The hustlers out here in Asia is like...
It's no hustle like the Thailand hustle, y'all. It's not even a Thailand hustle. It's an Asia as a whole, because Asia as a whole be hustling.
And it's so funny because I think you was talking about it the other day. Like somebody made a comment on your video about just like basically about just us being wait, no, it was something about somebody made a comment on your video about the hustlers or us being hustled as black people or something like that.
Oh, in my Malaysia, I had a video called How to Treat Blacks in Malaysia, and I talked about how we got scammed, because the title was called, you know, How You Treat Blacks in Malaysia, We Got Scammed. And so that person probably didn't watch the video and thought that I was like saying something bad about, you know, being scammed because I was black. So they was saying like, oh, like how dare you say you was scammed because you were black? You know, being black had nothing to do with the colors. I think that's what you was talking about.
Okay, yeah, basically they had something to say about the fact that basically everywhere in Asia, you know, kind of does the hustle thing or something along that line. I can't remember now.
That was a comment.
Oh, okay, yeah, now I gotta go back. But just basically I was wanting to make the point of that it's like, it's a different type of hustle. Like being from the United States, for example, right? We hustle our own. Like, you know, you hustle your family, you hustle your own people on the block, you hustle the people that you work with, you hustling your next, like we hustling our own people in the United States. Out here in Asia, they hustle the mess out of the tourists. Like if you're a tourist and you're not from here, they will hustle you. You are going to get got. So it's not really a race thing. Like we so used to race in America, we start putting race into every damn thing. Like race don't have nothing to do with it most of the time. But when you come out here in Asia, if you're a foreigner, then you're going to get the local, you're not going to get the local prices. Like they have local prices and they have foreigner prices.
True facts.
In most of the countries that we've been to. And so you're going to get the foreigner prices, you're not going to get the local prices. Then they're going to also, you know, when it comes down to hustling you, they're going to come after you more than they come after their locals. And so if they see you walking down the street, they're going to try to get your attention, they're going to try to beep at you, holler at you, try to get you to come over and, you know, basically do commerce with them because they know you're a foreigner, you probably have a little extra money, and of course your currency is probably a little bit more than theirs here in Southeast Asia, and so they'll come after foreigners and they'll just hustle, and you got to be ready to, you know, talk down the prices and negotiate because you know they already giving you a higher price. So immediately your first thing is I can get that price down, you know, if you're a foreigner, and then also knowing that you can go back and forth a few times without feeling like, you know, you know, in America we kind of taught like, oh, if you go down in your price, you're trying to hassle and basically you're trying to say I'm not worth what I'm asking you for, but it's not even nothing like that here. Here it's just like a negotiation is a negotiation. They respect you more when they know like, oh, okay, I couldn't get over on you, huh? Like you're not one of those, all right, you know. And sometimes I'll just slide them a price without negotiating because I already know we already been here. We kind of like locals now. We said we're gonna get a T-shirt that say non-immigrant because we technically aren't immigrants anymore because we have a different status of visa. But when it comes down to like negotiating with them, it's literally like, you know, I just pass them the money that I know how much it costs to get from here on a you know, motorbike, or I know how much this costs in order for food, or you know, some other type of when we buying jewelry or something like that, and they're like, oh, this costs this amount. No, you know, I want 4 of them for that amount. If I'm gonna pay that amount, I'm gonna need 4. Like, you know, just little stuff like that. It's like barely know English, but you better know how to negotiate with them because they know money.
They know money.
So, you know,
English.
As a foreigner, it's just, you know, you will feel like you're getting scammed, but then after we start being to every country out here, it's like, you know, it's not really a scam. It's just, can they get over on you as a foreigner, or can they not get over on you? But what they own, they be strictly like, you know, taking care, bless you. They be taking care of their own, and they make sure that they, you know, everything is upfront and copacetic with their own people. It's just, you know, when it comes down to foreigners, they see if they can get over on you, and sometimes we got enough money where we do kind of like, you know, all right, we're a little bit more well off, I'm gonna pay you a little extra or something, you know, if that's how you feel. Not if somebody trying to take advantage of you.
Right.
But if that's how you feel, you want to give more, then, you know, at that point, you can give more. So that was one of the things we learned, was negotiating and being able to negotiate well.
And then being resourceful and living a minimalist life, like not having a lot of stuff, you know. Like, I just think, you know, it's just crazy that, you know, like where I've lived, had walk-in closets, you know, stuff packed everywhere, gotta get all this furniture, stuff like that. And not really having to worry about that out traveling abroad. You know, a lot of places come fully furnished that you're staying at. Y'all know I love Airbnb, so they always come furnished. You don't have to even worry about that. And it's just nice to travel. Like when you're traveling for a long period of time, of course you want to have like a smaller amount of luggage just to make sure it's easy to travel, you know? So I just think that it's just amazing that we've learned so much in a short amount of time. Because if you think about it, it's only 365 days.
Yeah, I mean,
not really that long.
I mean, thinking about the first day when we landed here, just you talking about the luggage.
Oh my gosh.
Like the luggage, I mean, but like I said before, like we sold everything that we own, and so we don't have really anything to go back to, you know, in the States. And so we was bringing with us everything that we just couldn't let go of, well, that we felt like at the time. That we just couldn't let go of. And then we didn't know what to expect out here. We didn't know we were gonna be in the middle of nowhere with like crazy foreign food that we haven't had before. So we got our first aid kits. We got some winter clothes, some summer clothes.
Got insect bite medicine. We got all that cold compress, all types.
A deserted island. We was just trying to be prepared for anything.
We was ready for it.
But literally we landed with like 7 or 8 bags. Like it was crazy to the point we paid like $500 in baggage fees or something just because we had so much baggage. And then us landing with the Timbs on and the winter jacket, because we was coming from Philadelphia. And so right before we left in Philadelphia, it was just getting cold. And she's really cold all the time. And so we bought this big jacket for her. She was against buying. She's like, no, we about to leave. Don't buy me a jacket. But at the same time, she like this shivering everywhere. And I'm like, we gonna buy a jacket because I can't stand having you shivering like this. So we show up in hot Thailand, not doing any research and knowing the weather. You know, crazy tropical, crazy hottest weather we ever experienced. We show up with big Timberland boots on, both of us. Timberland boots on, jeans, winter coats, 7 suitcases. The Asians was looking at us like, where are y'all from? Alaska? Like,
are y'all ever going back home?
Are y'all ever going back home? Have y'all ever been here? They was asking us all types of questions like that. And so slowly but surely we started noticing that they live very minimalistic type of stuff, like, you know, little small apartments, but they take advantage of the space so well, you know, to the things where you feel like you're in luxury even if, you know, you're paying a small amount, like literally here. And so when we learned that we can just live off of minimalistic type of things, we went from 7 suitcases to 1 suitcase apiece. And so, you know, that's growth. Like, I feel like every time we went to different places, we got rid of more and more stuff. And we sold stuff, and gave away stuff, And oh no, we ain't sell nothing here. We ain't sell our stuff here.
No, we just give
we
it away.
We sold our stuff before we left from the United States. But the stuff that we had left here, we just been giving away more and more stuff, or even throwing it away at this point where it was like we can let go. And we've let go enough where we got one suitcase each where, you know, we wanted to travel somewhere. But now we stabilized here in Thailand, so now we can actually have our stuff stable and just travel wherever we want with a, you know, carry-on bag. But even if we didn't and we wanted to take everything we own and just go to another place, we can do that now with just, you know, packing up real fast and being gone. So the freedom is real, like the freedom lifestyle that, you know, we designed for ourselves is real to us and is serious to us, and that's how we design, you know, things to be, you know, purposefully, and it goes along with our purpose and who we are.
And so, you know, we just really like traveling abroad, and I'm so excited for the journey that's coming up now. And hopefully we have a second year video.
Yeah.
But I've learned so much of traveling abroad. Like, don't be scared to get to know people that may not look like you, that may not talk your language. Like, we met some really great friends we probably would have never met. We've met older, young, all types of different people all around the world. So, like, just don't be scared to experience, you know, things. Go to the neighborhood food place. Like, walk down the street. Like, don't be scared because you look different than everybody. Because I know a lot of people that watch my videos maybe a little scared. I know somebody commented in my last video said that, you know, sometimes being black or being somebody that's of hue, it's hard to be amongst, you know, a lot of other people that may not look like you, because you just feel like, oh, I'm going to be attacked. But like we said, like, that comes from experiences. Like, nobody is telling you or have shown you that. That's all in your head. And sometimes you got to go through all those programming and years of programming, because, you know, you have TV, movies that make you relive all this crap. And it's just like you have to go through and kind of like reprogram yourself. And it may take some time, but in reality, it's going to be needed. If you're serious about it, it will happen faster than what you think. So just take the time to just let go, take a deep breath, and just go ahead and take a leap of faith, because it's going to happen. You know, at a time when we decided to travel abroad, we didn't really know, like, how long, what we were going to do, what we needed. We didn't even really look up any visa requirements and things like that until, like, the last minute. Like, sometimes you really just got to just move on what you just feel and what you know. So if you know for sure you're supposed to be traveling abroad, make a decision today to purchase that ticket and travel abroad. If you're still thinking about it, that just means that there's other things that you probably feel is more of a priority than traveling abroad, and figure out why is it, because sometimes those things are not even important. It's even compared to traveling abroad when you think about the freedom lifestyle and what you're going to gain as far as value.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's something that, you know, if you do want to travel abroad, then, you know, kind of go on a mission of knowing who you are, finding yourself before you travel abroad. I mean, when you travel abroad, you're going to get those revelations and grow more into yourself, but is even that more important for you to know who you are and have confidence when you are traveling abroad, because you're going to stand out like a sore thumb. Like, you're not going to be able to hide your insecurities or hide your faults or things like that. Those things are going to be relevant. And so what you want to do is be confident in who you are, to know that those faults are there for whatever reason as you're growing towards who you are and who your purpose is. And so, you know, I think, you knowing who you are is so important, because I know when, when she walks down the street, for example, and I tell her all the time, here in Thailand is, we're a rarity as a people, like, of our descent. And so when they see us, first of all, we're a rarity of our descent. Then we're rare that we're young. Then we're rare that we're a couple. And then it's even more rare to see a woman, because you might see guys out here, but most of the time they're out here because they kind of want to get filled up by the Thailand women, and they come out here to kind of experience that type of lifestyle. But to actually see a woman, come out here, when she's walking down the street, she's such a rarity, and she can walk down so confidently that they just love her, like they do. Like, it's hard not to love someone who's confident in who they are, and they always call them sexy or beautiful, or wanting to get to know who she is, or touch her hair, or it's just like, just having that confidence of who you are is going to be important, because you're going to have to walk around confidently when people see you and they see you as differently. And then also, it's funny because they see you as differently, but we're so much the same. It's crazy. Like, every country that we've been to, and we told you, like, we do research when we at the country, so we find out not only about their current status or when they was colonized. We try to go back in history, like, who were they before then? It always comes back to us as a people. So it does every single time. It is truth. There is no other way. It always comes back to us and our foundation as a people in all of these areas and all of these lands. So we done been to Thailand, we done been to Bali, Indonesia, we done been to the Philippines, we went to Malaysia, we've been to Cambodia, we've been to Vietnam. Did I miss anywhere? I don't even know. But like all of these places, it comes back to us, like deep-rootedly into us, you know? And so it's like we are that culture. They are us, even if you look at me differently because you ain't seen us in a while because we have been kind of a little secluded in certain parts.
I'm pretty sure you got a cousin or uncle that's
but
a little...
we go in there when we associating, you know, with people from Asia. It's like we are you, you are us. Like stop playing in the games. Like we're not different. And you know we here, and you know we're part. We locals now. That's how we really
we're
talk to each other.
And
we're gonna learn Thai. We're gonna
so
school.
we're really about to blow their mind.
It's about to be crazy. Like you know what I mean.
It's
so
crazy.
You know we gonna learn some Chinese. Like they don't even know. We the same. Like we gonna be in. So
we supposed to be the mother and father of all languages.
Of all languages, civilization. So we know who we are, and we go amongst out there as such. And you know, people just love us, and they waiting for us to, as a people, to rise back up.
And we basically ready is what we saying to them. Is that you know we're ready, but also you know we're here to work with you and not against you too. So just giving them the reassurance of that. So traveling a year abroad has been so enlightening. It's of course like obviously been such an awareness to us and ourselves, our best self, and we just learned so much. It's crazy. So if you guys get a chance to travel abroad for a year, I definitely recommend it. I have no regrets. And throughout my whole year, I haven't experienced one race problem.
No.
It's crazy for a year.
Race don't exist, like, you know,
and I've been abroad, so I haven't had a problem. You know, my stories, of course, may be different than other people. Other people had experiences, but I haven't had any experience because of my skin color. I've had, you know, some like obscene things happen around me, but not because of me or who I am or what I look like. So, you know, I've been respected anywhere that I've gone, but also, like you said, because I have respect for myself at the end of the day, and you should have the same for yourself. And if you feel like you are respectful and you respect yourself, other people will receive you as such. So, however you feel about yourself is what other people feel. And so I just like to keep that in mind, because if I feel bad about myself, I'm pretty sure somebody gonna feel bad for me, and I don't like feeling pity. So, you know, just trying to figure out where you lay, but I'm so excited. It's been a whole year. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video.
Yeah, guys, we really hope that you at least learned something from this experience. We don't know. We just felt the need to have to share. So hopefully it touches one person, 2 people, you know, 100 people, 1,000 people. We don't really know how far it's going to go, but we know that we felt it in our heart, you know, in order to share this. And so hopefully you learned something from it. Would you do us a favor and like the video, and then also put a comment below about either a question that you may have, or something that you learned from it, or even just your experience of traveling abroad and sharing that with us. And we'd like you to do the same and just share it with us. All right, guys? So we enjoyed this time with you. We'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.